Hey finders, and welcome back to Fortune Finds. I am back at the Shore House, and this time I remembered to bring my mic, which is so exciting because if you know me, I constantly forget things. Like, I have the worst memory. I will make a checklist in my mind of things that I need to bring with me all the time. I could literally leave it right in front of the front door, and I seemingly always forget something. So, while I did remember my microphone, I forgot my ring today, which Michael is very unhappy about. But you win some, you lose some. So it is what it is. But I do have my microphone. However, I hope that the sound is okay because it is balancing on my lap on top of my travel makeup kit, which you guys have seen very recently because I did upload a beauty roundup video talking you guys through the products that I leave packed with me 24/7, always ready to go. If you did miss out on that video, I got a lot of great feedback on that video. You guys loved it. I will link it up here as well as down below. Be sure to check it out. So if it sounds a little rattly, I do apologize. I'm gonna try and not move too much in this video. However, that's gonna be really hard for me because Lord Jesus knows I use my hands a lot when I talk. It's the Italian in me. I'm really hoping that you guys think my brows look as amazing as I think they look, because today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite new brow products. This is a brow kit by a company that I recently discovered earlier this year, and I was so impressed by the first product that I found of theirs that I went ahead and purchased their entire brow kit. Full disclosure, this video is not sponsored. This company has no idea that I'm making this video. I am simply making this video because I love this product and I think that you guys need to know about it, which none of my videos are sponsored. All the products that I love, I genuinely love. I just want to remind you that if you're not yet subscribed, please scroll down and hit that subscribe button. It costs nothing. It is free to you, and it really means the world to me if you would subscribe. Show your appreciation. Show me that you love my channel and that you like my content. If there is a video that I ever upload that you really do love, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribing, liking my videos not only lets me know that you like the content and kind of steers me in the direction of what it is I film on a weekly basis, but it also lets YouTube know that, like, hey, people are enjoying this content. Let me go ahead and push this channel and this video to other people who might like this video and like this channel too. I would love to reach more people to teach them about beauty, makeup, and just great products, because that's really what we talk about mainly here on Fortune Finds. Great products, how to use them, and why I think you should spend your money on them or not. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's hop into my new brow obsession, how I use it, and why I think you will love it. This is the $1 Billion Brows Best Sellers Kit. Now you get 4 products in here. I fell in love with $1 Billion Brows, their brow butter pomade. Oh my God. I didn't bring it with me because I have been really using this a lot more since receiving it, but that one is amazing. If you are more of like a gel pomade kind of brow gal guy, I highly recommend it. This kit works with most skin tones and hair colors. So what's interesting is that if you go on billiondollar-brows.com and you look up this brow kit, it doesn't come in like a dark brown, taupe, blonde, auburn kind of like typical eyebrow breakdown we are used to seeing as consumers when shopping online or going to a cosmetic store. It literally is just this one brow kit. It retails for $42. I did find this kit on Amazon for $19. I purchased it from the $1 Billion Brows website. The universal brow pencil, it's formulated to work with most skin tones and hair colors. This mechanical eyebrow pencil goes on smooth and natural, which it really, really does. Right off the bat, I love the fact that it is double-sided. One side is the pencil while the other side is the spoolie. I like that the spoolie has a clear cover while the actual pencil has a black cover. I'm pretty sure all of my brow pencils have lids that are the same exact lid on both ends. One is a little bit shorter than the other side, and it is like the slightest difference. I can't tell you how many times I have put the spoolie cover on the actual pencil cover and have like broken a piece of the pencil off because the spoolie side is shorter. We won't continue to break our eyebrow pencils like we've been doing for years and years and years, which drives me absolutely bananas. For comparison's sake, here is the spoolie on the $1 Billion Brows, which is almost kind of like rectangular, whereas the Joah one, which is the blue one, has a little bit more of a tapered end. Personally, a spoolie is a spoolie. I guess if I had to choose, I am used to a tapered end a little bit more. I love a brow pencil that has a really skinny applicator because you can really get in the brow and make the most natural looking hair-like strokes. While this is pretty skinny, this is a lot thicker than the Joah. I love them both, but I think if you were someone that has thinner brows, you're gonna like Joah more than you'll like Billion Dollar Brows, just because you're really gonna have to build that brow up, and I just think it's easier to build your brow up and get in there when you use a skinnier pencil. I don't know if you can see because I did put a really small stroke, but this is Joah, and then up top is Billion Dollar Brows. So it goes on creamy, but a little bit waxy. Personally, I like a waxier brow pencil because when something is too creamy, and I feel this way with eyeliners and I feel this way with lip liners, you guys have heard me say this so many times, when you are using a pencil that is really, really creamy, it kind of just can go anywhere. Like, I like something that fights with me a little bit. It's not too pigmented and it's not too stark where it's like, oh crap, I need to go ahead and fix that. It's a little bit easier to work with because it kind of fights you a little bit to get the full on pigment. So you really need to build the brows up. Kind of stops you from doing that like block brow. And when I say block brow, I don't know why, but I think of like SpongeBob, which what do SpongeBob's brows even look like? Does SpongeBob have brows? Okay, long one here and spoolie here. See, I don't like having to do that. It's annoying because honestly, half the time I'm just like shoving things into things because y'all know I'm always late to everything. So, Smudge brush. This is kind of just like a flat brush. I will go ahead and lay the brush flat like this and fluff the front of my brows because for me, that's the section of my brow that can get a little bit like blocky. So I like to fluff them a little bit and make them a little bit lighter because that is really where I don't have a lot of brow hairs. Sometimes I can get a little heavy-handed when it comes to the brow pencil. So I like this because I can go ahead and flick it and it's just gonna make the effect a little bit softer. It's going to take back a little bit of that pigmentation and make it look a heck of a lot more natural. Also up here, especially on my right brow, I am missing a lot of hairs up here. So then I like to go ahead and run it like this up here to go ahead and smudge out that pencil because again, you know, if there are no hairs there, really any pencil has nothing to like stop it. So it can kind of just glide and glide and glide. And sometimes that gliding motion can add a little bit too much pigmentation, a little bit too much product. Think of it like how we use a blending brush to blend out our crease. Think of this as like a blending brush to help blend that brow product in with our natural brows a little bit more to make them look a little bit more natural. And then there will be a little bit of residue on the brush. Use that little bit of residue to maybe make the brow a little bit wider. Maybe there's like an area where you wanted to fill it in a little bit more. You just need like a hint of product. This, you can take the leftovers, and for me, that's usually my tail. Like, I need to always build it up here a little bit. So I'll go ahead and use this brush and build it up like that, and it will give like a hint of almost like shadow. It kind of gives like a haze of that pencil rather than, you know, that pigmentation that you get if you were to apply the brow pencil right there. Brow Duo pencil, one side is concealer and one side is highlighter, and it's just like this big, chunky, chubby pencil. Our secret weapon: apply the highlighter on your brow bone to add gorgeous definition for an instant brow lift. Use the concealer end to cover blemishes. I'm just gonna say this up front. Do not use this concealer to cover blemishes because it doesn't cover blemishes. The pigmentation kind of gets lost directly over the blemish. It's just not pigmented enough to cover up a blemish. And I also would not use this concealer underneath your eyes either because it's creamy, but this is gonna tug at your under eye skin a little bit and that does create wrinkles. So I wouldn't use this as a typical concealer also because it doesn't give enough pigmentation. This isn't gonna cover up blemishes and it's not going to cover up dark circles. So think of this almost as like an eraser. My two brows are not sisters. They are very distant cousins. I don't have very similar brows. I try to make them as similar as I possibly can when I fill them in, but sometimes, you know, some days are a little bit better than others. Take the concealer side and just place this anywhere where I maybe overdrew my brows, brought like the center in a little bit too far, or maybe I made it a little bit too thick right underneath in the front. So what I do is I will just trace wherever I want to erase any of that brow pencil where I made a mistake, and then I will go ahead and use a flat brush. You can go ahead and use your fingers. I personally like using a brush a little bit more. A flat brush does a really good job of blending this out, whereas sometimes my finger can make it a little bit textured. I literally used a flat eyeshadow brush to just go ahead and blend it out. So I would use this as an eraser, not a concealer. The other side is a highlighter, and I think it's great. When I say highlighter, it's more of a highlighter for your brow bone. And like, look how creamy this is. So this is the highlighter side. I will go ahead, fill my brows in, and then I will take the highlighter side and I will put that right on my brow bone. And then you can go ahead and blend that out with your finger. If you go in with a smaller brush, it's gonna go ahead and blend it out precisely where you want it. Whereas sometimes when I use my finger, I can accidentally push that product into my brow, and then that's kind of like erasing my brow when I didn't want to erase it. And making your brow bone pop is going to draw light here, so it's going to make you look more awake, but it's also going to help correct your brows and make them look a little bit more chiseled. It's going to make your eyes pop and your brows pop. I see myself using this not only when using this brow kit, but when using any brow product. Just make sure that you have a thicker pencil sharpener. Really creamy, very blendable. I love this. I love this so much. I think this might be my favorite thing out of this entire kit. Say you're not like the best person at doing your brows and you don't like to go in directly with the pencil because you're afraid you're gonna make a mess. You can go ahead and I would take the concealer side and I would draw this all around your brow. So you're kind of outlining your brow without filling your brow in yet. And then this is gonna go ahead and catch any of that brow pencil where it doesn't belong. So go ahead, fill in your brows, and then you can go ahead, take this brush and blend out the concealer stick underneath. And that'll really help you to learn how to fill in your brows. And then it will help get you to the point where you don't need to necessarily go in and frame your brows before filling them in. This brush is pretty thick. If you are someone that has very skinny brows or maybe no brows at all, this might be a little bit overpowering. So when you go in to fluff out the brow pencil and help to make it look a little bit more natural, you might end up taking that pencil and fluffing it out of the lines, and then you're kind of gonna ruin that shape, which is okay though if you're gonna go in with the highlighter and concealer, because you can just use that concealer as that little eraser that I mentioned. So you can go ahead and reshape it again, but that might be a little bit annoying because you're shaping it to erase it, then reshape it again. So just keep this in mind. If you're someone that naturally has really thin brows, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to use these products because they do run a little bit larger. If you are someone that has smaller brows and you're thinking like, okay, well then clearly this kit is a little bit too big for me, what I would go ahead and recommend is get the Precision Brow Pencil by Joah, because again, it is such a skinny little guy that you can really get in there. And then I would go ahead and get the Morphe brush that I loved. The last time I was here, I talked about how I used that flat brush from Morphe to go ahead and fill my brows in. I will leave it down below, but it is literally the same idea as this, but it's a lot shorter and smaller. The brow gel, which has a very thick wand. So I think this wand is a little bit too thick for someone if you have very, very thin brows, because this is just gonna get all over your skin. Hold and control, the perfect finishing touch for a polished, manicured brow, guaranteed not to flake. It doesn't flake. It really does hold your brows up very well. So this is a lot thicker than any of the wands that I currently have in any of my brow gels, and I own a lot of brow gels. I recently discovered the Wander Beauty one, which is literally like hairspray for your brows in a tube, and it has a really, really skinny tapered wand. I also love the Essence Make Me Brow, which are tinted, and they have very, very skinny little wands as well, perfect for people with any size brow. Another one that I love is the Hourglass Arch Brow, which I own in clear. It's a little bit pricey, but I love that the wand is small and that it has two different lengths. This one is really thick. For me, it's good though, because I have thick brows and I can literally do 1, 2, 3, done, 1, 2, 3, done. So if you are someone that has a lot of brow space to work with, you have thicker brows like me, I think this kit is going to be amazing for you. I think if you are someone that has thinner brows, not as much brow space to work with, I will go ahead and list the products that I recommend for you down below, because I want you guys to come here and I want you guys to be able to find what works for you. You know, I'm not just going to talk about what works for me. I try to take everyone into account. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you would like to see more videos like it, then do be sure to leave it a thumbs up down below. If you have a certain product that you would like me to review, I'd be happy to review it for you. Subscribe and ring the bell before you leave. Again, guys, it really means a lot to me. It helps me out a lot, and I would love for you to become a part of my little Fortune Finds family. I had a great time as always. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, Finders. Mwah.